I need your full attention. You both know we've had a new member of the family for a little while now. What's better than the desert in summer? Nothing, you're correct. We need to make a new car. I'm preparing the ultimate wedding gift. I recently got married, and I've been kind of ruminating on something to get Jamie. You know, something that says, welcome to the full custom lifestyle. Got an idea for some kind of an off-road car. It's gonna be a Volkswagen. Some might call me a hopeless romantic, but come on, what bride would not want the ultimate all-terrain vehicle? Some enthusiasm, please. Business as usual with the shop inspector. I have to drag him to work every day. Check it out. We've got all kinds of Volkswagen parts. This is a really good transaxle, link pin, front suspension. Look, you're drooling all over it. This is not just junkyard castaway stuff, you know, this is part of my prized possession. You know, everything here has been curated, documented, and stored. Got all these parts for the engine. Old school 70s steering wheel. It's got the chrome. Still not respecting. He's a tough customer, questions me every step of the way. We got paddle tires. I mean, we could go to the sand and the desert. He's not impressed. Dude has really come to be known as the world-class shop inspector, and apparently all that attention has gone to his head. I mean, what, you went on a vacation without even telling me? You come back with a souvenir? The tropics don't work for a dog like you. You're gonna get sunburned. Life isn't all coconut drinks and long walks on the beach. You know, there is work to be done in the shop. This is your home. You're here to inspect. So I know it's gonna take some convincing, but I got a couple leads. A friend of mine's a Volkswagen fanatic. I'm not sure what he has to offer, but he said, if you're looking for off-roading, I got the things. Just sit here and try to look handsome. The wonderful expanse of the desert allows every one of us to really hoard some good stuff.
Hey, Ian.
And my friend John is no exception. Oh, wow, look at that. Right out the gate, I spot treasure. This is cool. It's like a Baja Bug, but for drag racing almost, with these tires on it. Wow.
Yeah, that's one of my weird creations.
Well, see, this has got the real 70s flavor, you know?
I love it.
I was born in 1970, so 70s vehicles were reminiscent of all the flavors that I came up with. There's something to be said for this style ride too, man. That's my first love, is that styling period, and I'm trying to make that translate into this new project. Take me to your treasure trove. Oh, what's this thing? John's love for vehicles, you know, a big part of it's Volkswagens, and that's right up my alley.
Lived here for, what, 29 years? This is all just recycled parts that are going to be thrown away anyway. You look around, a lot of this stuff is all been used, and it's just repurposed.
No,
that's what I like about the way you do things, is you repurpose everything.
John is also a purveyor of fine wild beasts, and he's doing a lot of horsing around. You got Volkswagens, you got horses.
Like I say, with all my other collections, I have a couple of horses, too.
A horse collection. So these things are just for flies, to keep the flies off their eyeballs?
Yeah, that's just a fly mask. That's what they actually call it, the fly mask.
That's a big one, that's a little one. I think John's onto something here. If I could pick up a couple of these fly masks for the inspectors, they may slow down that critical eye. You know, I got those two dogs in the shop all the time, and they do pretty good. Imagine this thing clod hopping around, getting all excited. Yeah, I'd hate to see when it doesn't like what I'm doing, to kick a hole right in the freaking door of the car. There's one thing I don't need, that's more shop inspectors. I've got my hands full as is. But I see your problem with all these animals. You get a lot of bugs. Look at that up in there. There's bugs all over the place.
We got a big bug up there.
Yeah.
And we even got another one there, too.
All right. If you ever wondered, like, where did all the Baja bugs go? They're right here. They're everywhere you look.
You got to see what I got out here. 68 Type 1, and this one's a 70.
Well, you definitely got the Baja bug market covered, man. Some people just need to acquire as many of the same types of vehicles as they can.
I got all the goodies out here in the back.
It's like he has his own little paradise out in the middle of this wasteland.
This is basically the junk pile, but I think you'll like what I have out here, because I think this is what you're going to be really interested in.
There's the jewel on the lot right there. That's what I'm talking about. My passion, at the root of it, is weird cars. So, hey, it only lends itself to all the fiberglass kit cars that were built in the 70s. Oh, I got a thing for fiberglass buggies. You don't know, I've done a couple of them in the past. This is a later model because it's more square. The earlier ones were very round.
There's so much you can do with it. There's no really structural damage or anything to it.
No, this is in great shape. The thing I like most about fiberglass buggies specifically is that they're lightweight, they're super strong, and they just look cool. Depends what world you're living in, but in my world, all these elements add up to the perfect wedding gift. I think this is definitely the move.
If you're interested in this, we'll make you a good deal on it. And like I say, I'd love to see what your final product is with it.
Say no more. As far as parts searches go, this one was top notch. It's exactly the kickstart this project needed. This is perfect. I'm excited about this. This is just a bare body, so now we're on to the other pile of parts. I think I got what it takes to make this thing come together. Some people collect watches, some people collect artwork. My favorite thing is used car parts. Everybody's got to have a little Volkswagen scrapyard, and I got a little one too. Bottom line is I've got quite a bit of VW stuff. I've had this little bug project for a while. Somebody cut it in half and they were going to shorten it and never got any further. In looking at it now, I could tell right away it's way too short. That's not a candidate as I had hoped. First thought with this project was this sandrail that I had sitting back here. You know, first thing, it's pink. Gals love pink, so do I. The more I looked at it, I was like, well, this is supposed to be, you know, a really good wedding gift. So to give her something that throws sand in her face probably isn't the best idea. We don't want sand in the teeth, and we don't want to get cooked by the sun, but we want a cool ride. Have no fear, we have more options in Honest Ian's used VW Emporium. One cool thing is I have this stock length floor pan, and it's got surface rust. It's got a couple modifications to it, but it'll be ideal for the buggy project. The whole thing is start with a clean slate. So starting with an unmodified stock floor pan, it's just as if you were doing it back in the day. The shop inspectors aren't totally on board with what my plans are here, but I got a couple ideas. I got a few tricks that should turn it in my favor. There is no time like the present. Let's get back to the shack and start configuring. I've done a bunch of VW Dune Buggy projects in the past, and I put a spin on each one. They all have a very unique character, and this one will be no exception. They do say that diamonds are a girl's best friend, but I don't think we're at that capacity just yet. There's one thing I can see, is the diamond in the rough. That's the key in every relationship. It is not forged at the starting moment. It's nurtured, it's built up. It's a refined process based on respect, mutual admiration, and a lot of money. Solid body, solid chassis, time to get to work. First thing on the agenda is the first thing with every Dune Buggy chassis, and that is it needs to be shortened. You see how it comes up and over the top? It fits up perfectly here, but when you look at the front, see this part here has to mate with that part here. It's always about a 14-inch chop on these style. You always take it out behind the emergency brake because that's one of the straightest parts in the whole chassis. I'm not 100% as to why Dune Buggies were created on a shortened floor pan, but I can imagine the turning radius, you know, they'll turn corners a lot tighter when they're shorter, and the shorter wheelbase acts kind of like a Jeep in that it won't high center, won't get caught up between the tires if you're crossing a rock or something. Bottom line is the shorter wheelbase makes it look a lot more like a toy, and that's all thumbs up from me. Kind of like a heart transplant, you get to see all the things. At this point in my career, I've done so many of these projects that shortening a floor pan is kind of like washing the dishes. You know what you got, you know where you're going, and you just go through the process. All right, well, that's the 14.5-inch section. You can see it's very close. What I did is I made this key cut here. So see, the floor pan will overlap the rear. So I got two keys. So these will join on the edges, but then the center sheet metal will be a lap joint. This slice and dice was the first step in our buggy creation, and you know there's gonna be a lot more where that came from. It's gonna be awesome. Well, long story short, a lot of tedious sheet metal welding. I butt welded the tunnel together, capped it with this 1/8-inch steel plate, and I lapped the sheet metal on the floor pans and welded top and bottom. And you can see, it looks like it's supposed to be that way. Next step is the front bumper. Establishing the front, the look, the face of the car is the first step I want to take in this project because that's the character. Foremost in my mind for this vehicle is safety. So God forbid this thing loses control, smacks into a rock. I want a good bumper, bottom line. It's gotta look good and it's gotta function. Before I can build anything, I need to get the front and rear suspension mounted so I can make it a roller. Back in the day when the Dune Buggy craze was really in its prime, you could buy just about everything. It was a real catalog-oriented bolt-on market. So people were building their own stuff, and that's kind of where I'm trying to stay. It's like, well, every catalog built buggy would have certain elements, but mine are unique. I just want to chuck this body on here. That way I can take a look at the front end and see how the bumper feels. Perfect fit, like it was made that way. You can see with the shortened wheelbase, it's already got that speed buggy feel, You got your rear tire here, you got your front tire here. As per the usual, I like to loosely assemble all the parts just to see what I'm working with. Now, the envisioning starts. So it's gotta look good, feel right. Something about the V shape of the buggy in the front, I don't wanna lose that. And just as I'm sitting down having a Zen moment of contemplation, in comes the cavalcade of naysayers. Ahem. So what do you think about the car? She's digging the shortened chassis already, you could tell. She's done the measurements, something looks different. I've learned that the inspectors react best to a visceral experience. They need a real sense of what it'll be like in the end. Already, you can feel the wind in your fur. I think Lil's a natural. I think she is ready to dune bug around town. Dude probably couldn't care less. He's facing the wrong way. I've been through this before with him. It's good to see that Miss Lil is on board. Hey, don't look so enthusiastic. He used to be so tiny. Yeah, whoa. This buggy bumper is not gonna build itself, so let's get to it. It's gonna be a tube bumper, so I got a piece of tube. How's that sound? I was thinking it would kind of curve up, just following kind of the line of the buggy. I have a small skid pan in the front. I'm not thinking anything crazy elaborate for this front bumper. I want it to look good, fit with the body, and just protect the underside from the elements. It's cool, I'm just gonna take some right out of the center. This style of joining the tubes is used all the time in a lot of different ways. It just becomes part of the assembly. It's trapped in there and it makes the tube join way stronger. Now, how do we attach it to the car? It's the old welded jack stand technique. A method as tried and true as the jack stand itself. That's what I'm looking for. It's not straight down, it's not just bland. This is what I was hoping for, It wasn't a real wild throw of the dice. I just needed something that looked right on the front of the car. So this triangulated structure will be plenty for this car. It's not gonna be doing the Baja 1000. It's starting to look a little bit more the part. I think my big issue is the way that the shape of the fiberglass looks with the tube right now, but later when the body's mounted, probably gonna trim it just like that. The last element to the bumper is a skid plate. These fiberglass bodies are pretty weak and the gas tank is right up front, just like the stock Beetle, so the skid plate will protect anything from coming up and piercing that fuel tank. I like to keep it real simple in the Wild West. Just a few simple mounting tabs underneath and this skid plate is ready for some skidding. Now, one cool thing about these screws is they never seem to go in on the first try. Try number 1. Try number 2. 3. It's a good thing the shop inspectors aren't around, because this is the exact type of incompetence that they thrive on. It'll just be between us. Let's get one in. There it goes. I look at that bumper and it's gnarly, dude. I gotta say, this is the impetus for the entire project. It's gotta be straight to the point, looks cool, totally functional. All right, now on to the rear bumper. Does two things. It protects the engine like a bumper, and it protects the engine like a skid plate. Of course, all these parts are available off the shelf, but I wanna make it special. A profession of my true love, as expressed in a rear bumper. Just like the front bumper, this rear bumper is all business, but I still want it to look cool. This Volkswagen engine, the cases are made of a magnesium alloy, and they'll break pretty easily if they hit a rock. So every buggy you see has these two tubes with a skid plate that goes underneath. As soon as I get this stuff protected, I can get onto the really creative stuff. One big aesthetic with a Dune Buggy is the exhaust, because the engine's exposed. These are kind of old school. They'll shine up, there's no real rust. Kind of like a jet boat look. Makes a cool sound. I got all this cool chrome stuff for the engine. Chrome valve covers, chrome alternator, chrome cylinder tins. I got carburetors, I got pedal assemblies, I got brake hoses. So I'm basically gonna take this pile here, and throw it over there, and there'll be a Dune Buggy when I'm done. You might not see it yet, but I know I do. So let's get to seeing so you can see what I see. See what I mean? We'll see. Now it looks like a race car, doesn't it? What a difference. I got some tubes mocked up just to look at this bumper idea. You know, I started with some 1.5" tube, set up some tabs, and I kind of got an idea of how they're gonna get arranged. So these are gonna come in like that on both sides. Under the engine, you can see 2 more tubes with the same detail. So that's the setup, and it's nothing new. The only thing I'm doing different is making it unique. You know, how do I make something that's not like one you would buy off the shelf? In the way that I fabricate a lot of things, consider it like the first time you walk up a staircase, right? You put one foot, you figure out your balance, and then you step again, right? And the more you climb, the more accomplished you feel. So with these style bumpers, this upper tube is usually perfectly straight. I don't want the bumper coming way out here and then having that thing firing right into it. So I think what I'll do is to match the front, I'll come in with kind of a V design, because I want these 2 tubes to be parallel on both angles and just go under the exhaust and over. Primary importance, first step is to protect the engine. Second step is have it act like a bumper. Third step, try to make it look cool and see what it could do. One step at a time. It's a pretty straightforward project, and it's another case where these sleeve inserts really streamline the process. So it might be just a bit too wide. Let's see. Whenever I'm making something that I don't know what I'm doing, which is most of the time, I always leave the ends a little bit long, and I creep up on the end result. Looks good in tint. I'd say we weld it. Just like the front end of this buggy, the rear end is the same. I'm gonna triangulate the rear bumper and, of course, add in that skid plate to protect the sump of the engine. That bumper is good to go. Dynamite! So that's the look, you know, all the function is taken care of. The top side is where the fun happens. What does it look like when you approach it? What's the statement of the car? I got one main element that's gonna really make this thing shine. This buggy's coming right along, and I asked my #1 helper to come on down and lend a hand. Well, thanks for coming by, man. I got this top secret, ultra special project.
Oh, well, that sounds like fun.
Observe this.
Oh, well, this is cool.
I'm thinking about, you know, like the ultimate wedding gift.
Oh, this is perfect.
And what says I love you more than a custom Dune Buggy?
Out in the Antelope Valley, nothing.
That's what I'm talking about. See, Tom gets it. The inspectors were trying the whole time to make me second guess this idea of the ultimate wedding gift. Nothing says love and commitment like a full custom Dune Buggy.
Oh, without a doubt, man, that seals the deal.
What woman doesn't love a Dune Buggy, right?
I don't know him.
He understands what women truly value. Dogs just don't get it. I got Tom up to speed on the project, filled him in on all the details. When I was out at John's house, I found one more piece that's gonna make this buggy next level. So this is actually a roof for the car.
Oh, wow.
What got me about this, it's almost like a 64 Impala where it's got that little subtle ridge in it. I've never seen a buggy roof like this. This is definitely one-off.
It gives the car attitude.
Yeah, that was the whole thing with this. You know, it's so cool, and that's what John said. He's like, I saw this at the swap meet. I traded a guy a special transaxle for a Dune Buggy, etc. He's like, I love it too. That's why I'm showing it to you, so you can't have it.
Okay, so you can't have it, but so what are we supposed to do with it?
He's letting me have it, but I can't have it, and he needs it back.
Okay, so wait a minute. You can't have this. It has to go back to him.
That
so that
is
means we
correct.
can't use it.
We can use it, but we can't keep it.
All right.
It's like one of those riddles.
I'm kind of confused. What are we supposed to be doing?
If you step into the lab, all will be revealed. We're off to a perfectly good start. Tom is thoroughly confused, and I'm having a good time. So check out this contraption. Hop on the other side. So I want to make a mold of this thing, so we'll have 2 or 3 roofs. I'm going to mix up plaster and make a hard plaster mold.
Oh,
That way I could steal the shape and I can give him back his original, and I still get to keep one.
I like the way you think, man.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
I put this tarp down. It's gonna get drippy. It's gonna be dusty. It's gonna be a heck of a good time. I cut up a bunch of strips of paper, and I got a bunch of modeling clay and a staple gun. The first thing is to create like a little shelf all around this so that when the plaster is falling, it lands, and as it hardens, we can push it up onto this piece. Now, there is something to be said for winging it. How does anything happen for the first time, right? There's validity to winging it. So that's exactly the thing here. I've done this before, but I wouldn't say I'm proficient, so here goes everything. So you went to culinary school. You're a chef. You know how to make a cake.
Yeah, yeah.
So you pour the batter in, you cook it, and you take the cake out, and that pan is the mold.
Got it, yeah.
So that's the cake. We're gonna make the cake pan.
Gonna make the pan so we can make you your own cake.
That's exactly right.
I can dig it.
Some say you can't have your cake and eat it too, but I beg to differ. When you're making a cake, what do you do to the cake pan before you pour anything in it?
You gotta grease it.
Aha! General purpose super lube cartridge. This was in this barn when I cleaned it out. This stuff is from like 1943.
Oh, wow.
So it's gotta be good dinosaur juice.
Kind of like the smell.
The purpose of this lube on the fiberglass is to create a release agent. The 2 panels won't be glued together when we're finished, because that would be a disaster. While you're doing that, I'm gonna set up some plaster. This is where the real mess starts. Concentrated evil. The more you mess with this, the dirtier it gets. It's like playing with powdered donuts. This is a very hands-on approach and not a spectator sport.
I like that old school technique you're using.
Gotta get all the lumps out.
Get in there and mix it up.
Oh man, this is gonna set way too fast. Yeah, it said 20 minutes, it was more like 1 minute. Mucho bueno. Now we're making progress. It looks like a giant mess. I mean, a nicely shaped mold. We got those edges bulked up. I'm gonna try to just lay this over the top, kind of like syrup. As disheveled as this thing looks, I know there's a history to this process, and it's worked out before. You know, this is how Ed Roth made his fiberglass cars. But he didn't make a female mold. He actually made the car body like this and then put fiberglass on top of it. That's why when you see old pictures of Ed Roth in his shop, and there was just like plaster and wood and fiberglass everywhere, because it gets a little loose. All right, so now we take all this burlap and we just start coating it. Slap it.
Dip it and slap it, huh?
That is correct. So just like you got a cast on your leg, it's the same thing. Now all we have to do is let this thing dry, and the beauty will be released, like a moth emerging from a cocoon.
Man, you weren't kidding when you said it's gonna make a mess.
And you know what Ed Roth said?
What did he
Big
say?
mess, big success.
Sheesh.
Tom, we've done wrong. I don't think the plaster was a good choice, in hindsight.
Dude, what happened?
You know, I was here alone, I was feeling ambitious. I put a strap around it. I tried to lift it up on the chain hoist. And when I rotated it to flip it over, every time I moved it, it just came apart more. There's a lot of different definitions of what happened here. One of them may have been catastrophic failure. They all add up to the same thing. Nothing here is usable.
I really thought that this was going to work out.
You're not the only one. Sometimes the dice don't fall in your favor, but you get up and live to work another day. As soon as I saw that crack the first time, I knew it was game over. That's why it's all crunched up. I balled it up and threw it in the corner. I set it back up and I made a new mold right after that, same day, back to back.
This is a mold?
Yeah.
I thought this was the roof.
No, this is the new and improved mold. It's the same concept, but it's fiberglass now.
Oh.
So this is what we're supposed to have with the plaster. So see, you can just lay it upside down, and now you have that perfectly smooth, finished shape. There's your negative of the roof.
Dude, why didn't we just do this to begin with?
I was trying to get creative, man. It's nothing like a challenge, right? Oh, this is what we're looking for, a perfectly smooth, negative copy of this fiberglass roof. So let's get this mess cleaned up a little bit, and then we'll get on to the positive side of things.
I can dig it.
Now that we have our negative mold solidified, our cake pan, it's time to get to baking. This is exactly what we did, but you can see now we're working on the upside down. We're working in the negative aspect of things. For those that have followed me on my sports car adventure, this is the same process. It's a basic lamination of your project, and in the end, you get a result that looks like the piece you're hoping to make. Just try to work it as quick as possible. Some may say, Ian, that's a lot of work for such a simple roof, but I want it unique, I want it custom, I want it my own. So I'm just gonna keep on slogging through to get what I need in the end. Well, this is the fiberglass part of the fiberglass operation. See, I got this really dense weave. You see how meshy it is? It's like a really nice, almost like you can make a disco suit out of it.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty uncomfortable, but this provides a really strong surface when it's all done. This is the story of fiberglass laminating. You paint the resin into this mesh, and then you do multiple layers depending on how thick or rigid you want it. I'm probably gonna stop with about 3 layers across the whole thing, and then the edges will be built up to about 5.
It's got a really interesting stank.
We got the roof all laid out. We let it set for a full day, and now it's time for the big reveal. All right, man, well, check this out. I got some good news.
All right, I like good news.
And I got some bad news,
Oh no, come on.
as usual.
What happened now?
Well, one thing I didn't tell you about, how hard it was to get the mold off of the roof skin. We used the release oil, but man, is it stuck. Tom has every right to be concerned. Have you taken a look at the guy he's working with? I'd be hesitant. Tom has chosen his weapons, I've got mine. It's time to get in there and start hacking away. The technique here is to just try to remove it as gracefully as possible without damaging it. It usually breaks free, usually.
I'd really like to avoid doing this a third time.
Same. Damn, my bright ideas.
Corners are definitely a pain in the butt.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like the old saying goes, if it's not working, try a bigger hammer. Here, let me use the little pry bar.
Little pry bar.
Oh! Tommy Nine Fingers.
It's a little one.
You're gonna live. Sorry about that, bro.
That's all right. I'm good.
Release!
Now my hand's stuck.
Oh, really? It's a monster. So you hear creaking, you hear cracking. We're waiting for that big pop. It's about ready, Captain. You're waiting for that release. Aha! Eureka, at last. There she blows.
Woo!
Look, it's another roof. It was a total relief that the thing came apart. Unfortunately, it's not in the best condition.
I don't know, man. I'm actually pretty happy with the results. That's looking pretty cool. I mean,
Body work, that'll be a day of just messing around. Let's clear this riffraff aside and get to the fun part. Let's get back to building some cars.
yeah, all right.
End of the day, success. You know, we got this part. It's usable. The main thing is to see it on the car. Oh yeah, now look at the parallel.
Yes.
That works. This works. Look at that.
Yeah, man, that is so cool.
Standing around, you know, taking in all the looks. That roofline really gives it a different appearance in relation to a lot of those 70s buggies with the weird giant cartoon roofs on them.
Makes me want to throw on one of those old school trucker hats or a bandana.
Go sand duning. All I could say is this ultimate wedding present is starting to take shape. All right, I got a bunch of stuff done to this roof. It was a little rough coming out of the mold, but I did some patchwork, a little body filler, smoothed it out. It's totally usable, as ugly as it is. This project is equal parts fashion and function. As much as I love the look of the roof, you gotta be able to get into that car. The more I was thinking about it, just crawling through this space, it's always an issue with dune buggies. It's like Dukes of Hazzard style, they have no doors, you know? So I'm gonna make the whole roof hinge open. The upside of this is that the fiberglass is super strong. The downside is it's super thin and flexible. So I created a metal hoop and some side plates to reinforce it and keep it in place. Makes it very rigid. That's using your head. There's a lot of complicated ways you could create this hinge mechanism system, but out here in the Wild West, I go for the straight ahead approach. Real simple, you got a hole there, you got a hole there. That bracket just bolts in. Part of the way this roof was designed and my mold wasn't even set up to fit on this car. I always figured I'd have to do some adjustments later, so this metal bracket inside allows me to both rigidize it and to make the panels line up with the body lines. Seems like a simple task, but without this metal structure, it just wasn't gonna fit, so it's like a dual purpose win. Voila! See, now that's parallel, as it should be. So the idea is you don't have to crawl through these holes. You just approach the vehicle, lift her up. You got all the room in the world. You can just come across. Piece of cake. In the end, this roof will have a very simple latch to keep it shut while you're cruising. That's the easy part. And the next step is the venture into the great unknown. The root of everything, I'm a pretty good fabricator. Also at the root, I'm not that good of an upholsterer. Therein lies the great next challenge. I want to cover this with vinyl. That's my goal in this never-ending car quest, is to just keep on keeping on, you know? Try to improve on every aspect of car building. So, Honest Ian's mediocre upholstery is back in business. When mediocre is just good enough, call us. My goal to create this soft top is to first put a layer of foam over the fiberglass and then cover that with vinyl to achieve that soft top look. Seems like a simple task, right? Looks like it's gonna work. I was worried that this transition here was gonna be so tight, it's not gonna work. See how it starts to double up? Looks like I'll be able to pull that right through. I'm pretty much just gonna stretch this across, trampoline style, and glue it underneath. And then when I put the vinyl on, I'll spray the vinyl, glue it to this. It's hot in the desert. This buggy's gonna live primarily outdoors, so I want this top to, you know, kind of stay fitted looking. The worst thing you wanna see is as you're driving, this vinyl's like flapping in the wind. So that's the chief element here, is to try to keep it stretched taut so that it looks good in hot and cold weather. That worked. Surprise, surprise. With all the different colors and whatnot, you know, it looked like it was really, really uneven, but you can see with this stretched over, works perfect. Picked up some white vinyl to finish off the roof, but the story doesn't end there. You can clearly see one is longer than the other. I assumed that the vinyl was the same length as the foam, and apparently that's not the case. It just might make it. This is it laid out. You can see. One of the issues with Honest Ian's upholstery is that we don't have much of a stock. In fact, this is our entire surplus. So it comes down to the fact of we gotta make it happen with what we got. All right, I don't know how else to do this except just do it. It seems like it's gonna look okay. Holy stromboli. There's no guarantees with stuff like this. You know, no bolt-on parts, no factory fit-ups. Really just you against a car that seemingly does not want to be put back together. Oh, reminds you of the last time I went surfing trying to put on my wetsuit. It was just like this. It's horrible. Maybe I'll put it out. No, that's maxed. I can feel it. It's maxed out. Bottom line here is I have enough experience to know when I am bamboozled. I can read it right from the moment I first stretch it. It's not gonna fit. Looks so easy on TV, doesn't it? Looking at it, I think I may be able to just make the corner, just get a grab if I can just stretch a little more material. Nope. I have to come up with some kind of creative solution. I'm sure every do-it-yourselfer at home has faced the same thing, you know, whether you're putting in flooring or painting a wall, you get right to the end of it and it's like, ooh, I'm out of material. The show must go on. The big thing here was if I got a wrinkle in the center of this, there was no way around it, so I really paid attention to the center. I just got away with it. But all in all, that's a good look. Talk about putting lipstick on a pig, watch me go. Next up is the paint, and that will offer me some time to consider my creative solution for this roof issue. Called in my buddy Alan to help out with this paint job. He lives way out in Texas where he's developed a solid reputation as a paint and body man. I think he's a perfect fit for this project. Wow, This looks nice. Used to having people coming and checking on my work, now I get to do that. So you got the second coat of primer and it looks all blocked out.
She's smoothing out.
It's good to have you on this.
Thank you.
I figure there's no better way than to get Alan up and running with a little shock and awe, you know, really let him know what's at stake. This is actually a wedding gift for Jamie, my wife.
No pressure at all there.
Yeah, no pressure. Just do your best work and hopefully she likes what you did. The thing is, I mostly enjoy working with other artists, you know, guys that are gonna have an opinion, guys that are gonna push me outside my normal comfort zone. I've seen his projects and I want him to be a part of what I'm doing. You know, everybody's got just the metal flake dune buggy, right?
Right.
So I do want to put some flake in it, but I was thinking some kind of design, I don't know.
There's so many directions we can go with it. We can go Houston style if you want, throw some candy with some swingers, you know?
So it'll actually be sitting this tall, right? Just some
There you
big,
go.
big freaking 28-inch rims and chameleon fade across the front. We are off to a good start. Alan's thinking outside the box, and that's exactly the avenue I'm traveling with this. This is where the gas tank filler comes in. What somebody did, where the gas tank comes out, they had this shifter boot. And it's kind of a weird thing, but when I lined it up with the gas tank, it worked, so I left it. I was thinking some kind of graphic that maybe this got painted the same color as the body, I don't know. In addition to all of his other work, Alan spent time in the paint booth with Gene Winfield. I know you work with Winfield, and you know, his stuff is the fade, so like he would have like a darker color radiating up over the panel with like a highlight down the center. And
Yeah, he's known for most of his fades. We think he gets his inspiration from the sunset because he's out there watching it. You know, and you see all the different colors and kind of see his mind just working. So I've never really been able to play like where someone say, hey, do whatever you want on this.
that's where we're at, man.
So that's where we're at here. So definitely I want to take the desert, take all the colors you see in nature. If we can mix it into this, it'll be a piece of nature sitting out here. Let's play with some lines.
Yeah, great minds think alike right away. Alan's lines are complementing the front shape of the body. No, I see what you're saying. That really does add to the V shape of the front of the body. I like that, it's like an arrow. So what if the graphic not only was on the hood, what if this line came all the way through like that, but then it continued back here. So it's like it came through the whole car.
Yeah, no, that is really cool. The way it comes down, shoots all the way to the back.
This got kind of like that, you know, Wonder Woman, kind of 70s, kind of pops off of the surface. You think about, you know, the t-shirt styles in the 70s or like the tube socks with this, you know, very simple lines on them. We're trying to translate that flavor into this. You know, yellow's her favorite color, so I mixed up this paint. I know she's gonna like it.
Very 70s.
That's what I was thinking.
Very
you know?
70s, I love it. Man.
That with a little flake on top of it, I think it'll look mellow, and then in the sun, it'll have a lot of action, you know? mellow it out even more. Oh yeah, look at that. That just went to custard.
That's a mellow yellow. Nice.
It looks like we have a perfectly loose plan. I'm gonna let Alan do his thing. Make Jamie happy. Make her proud of me.
Yeah, definitely.
I think this dune buggy's wrapped up. First and foremost, shakedown run. Desert hills, you run this thing and see what falls off. The terrain around this area is pretty unique. It's not like sand dunes. That's why I chose the tires I did, because this thing, it's like a little tank. The short wheelbase, and when you put big tires on them, they bounce around. Watching them go is only half as fun as actually being in a driver's seat. Alan was a huge help on this paint work. It's very simple, but there's a couple of details in there with the metal flake that really makes it count. Now it really hits home. Like, why the heck was this guy building a wedding gift that's a weird old dune buggy, right? Now you can see, got a lot of trails, like hundreds of miles of trails when you go out touring. I gotta say, I hate to be selfish. I love this car. I hope she does too. So, for the lady that has everything, like what could a man like me possibly offer? And all of the ruminating has led up to this.
Oh my God. Is that a dune buggy?
Yes, thought you might like one of these.
I love it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's basically a Volkswagen, it's a stick shift, but it can go anywhere, all around here.
Oh, I know how to drive stick shift.
Right. I gotta say, this is why we got married. She's thrilled. You know, sometimes I could impress people, and she's one of those people.
It's perfect.
It's got some Mustang taillights. It's
I
got a
love
Volkswagen engine.
it.
It's got the metal flake paint job.
Is that glitter?
Oh yes, it's got the glitter.
I was genuinely surprised. It's beautiful. It's so cute, and it just looks like me. Like he picked it out for me. He knew that it would be perfect.
Authentic 70s antenna on a spring.
It's like totally like a 70s vibe.
Oh yeah, it's fully legit 70s funkadelic machine. You know, I thought about this a lot. I thought about the colors, I thought about the comfort, you know, the way the paint was laid out. You know, I want to personalize it. I know her style. Seems like it was a good choice.
It's kind of like a Wonder Woman-y, like vibey.
I was thinking about
kind of
that
like
type
look.
of thing.
Yes.
Like it's got a flavor. When you look at the car, like what's it make you feel like? Let's rock.
Right. This is definitely a wedding present. I would have never expected it.
Hop in, check it out.
Okay. With Ian, he creates and he's a builder, and that's how he shows his love. It's perfect. It's perfect. Thank you.
Stop with the thanking and get with the driving.
Nice. Oh my gosh. It's so good.
You're a natural.
I love how special it is. It's one of a kind. It could never be replicated, and I'll have it forever.
I gotta say, this was a real personal one, right? I took a risk. My relationship could have all ended right here.
I love it, darling. I love it.
Good news. It worked out well. On to the next.